Hi everyone. We're back with another lesson in purposive communication. So today we will be discussing Unit 2, which is local and global communication in multicultural settings. Okay, so before we start, um, just a little reminder that uh, you don't need to rush. Okay, so if you're feeling tired, depressed, hopeless, and all, uh, take it one step at a time. Okay, keep going and always focused on your goals. Okay, so I promise you, the feeling you are feeling right now, the hopelessness, the the depression, and all the anxiety, it is not forever. Okay, so yeah, so we will get through this together. Okay, so let's move on to our lesson. Okay, so we will be discussing again local and global communication in multicultural settings. Okay, so people from different cultures interact with each other, posing communication problems in the global community. So yung sinasabi ko noon na uh, different cultures may affect a communication because we are bounded to different beliefs, perspectives, and so much more. Okay, so some of these interferences are different culture affiliate, inferiority of one's culture, and diverse cultural communication practices. Okay, so these are cultural barriers. Okay, so it may stop us from interacting with one another. Why? Because yun nga, global environment have different perspectives. Okay, so our journey to effective communication in multicultural settings, it starts with unlocking two significant terms. Okay, so these are local communication and global communication. So ano ba yung local communication? Local communication has its foundation on the cultural context, which means it exposes the culture of the people forming their own identity in the community. So yun yung sinasabi ko na dito pa lang sa Pilipinas, we have different ethnic groups. Okay, we have Visayan, um, Ibanag, Itawes, and different cultures, Kalinga. So we have our own identity. We have our own way of communicating. Okay, so we have different perspectives. So yun yung local communication. It is its foundation is from the cultural aspects of people. Okay, so their perspectives, their beliefs are mostly based on their cultural backgrounds. Okay, so it is opposite to the globalization. Okay, so globalization paved the way to many effects in humanity. Why? Because of the fast pace of technology. Now, uh, through internet, you can know, you can read, you can access about different cultures of people. So if even us Filipinos can know the cultures of different places or different people. Okay, so that is the use of the internet now. So hindi tulad noon na parang kailangan mo muna talagang ah, yung parang maki may kasalamuha talaga nun sa mga tao to know their culture. Ngayon kasi parang through the technology, you can easily know a person. Then sometimes we easily judge them faster because ang bilis kasing ma-access yung buhay ng tao ngayon through internet. So, ganun yun. So, yung globalization, napabilis niya yung pag-connect natin sa isa't isa. So, may mga pros and cons naman yan. Okay. So, in this module, we will be introduced to many forms of intercultural communications and strategies to improve your competence as an intercultural communicator. So it focuses on the different registers and varieties of language and their vital role in written and spoken discourse. Okay, so you will learn to communicate effectively in a global society and to achieve effective global communication that could produce a harmonious and a borderless relationship with others. Okay. So at the end of this unit, you are expected to demonstrate an understanding of how cultural diversity affects communication, explain how cultural and global issues affect communication, convey ideas through oral and written presentations for different targets audiences in local and global settings, demonstrate our understanding of the concept of language variation, identify features of Philippine, American, and British English, and appreciate the differences of the varieties of written and spoken language. Okay, let's move on to topic one. Okay, so topic one is about intercultural communication. So maraming subtopics yan. Okay, we will discuss lahat yan. Okay, so let's move on to this one. Okay, so language is a component that is linked to intercultural understanding. Okay, so it acts as a way to bridge misunderstanding between people of different cultures. Okay, just imagine without the English language, how can we communicate with other cultures? Diba? So it's very hard. Okay? So we have different cultures kasi pag iba ang culture ng Asian, dito pa nga lang sa Asia, ang dami ng culture. How much more pag pumunta ka na sa United States of America, the Western. So, without the English language, without the language itself, paano tayo makakapag-communicate, di ba? Paano mabibreak yung misunderstanding na yan? So, a language is a bridge, uh, a way to bridge misunderstanding between people of different cultures. Okay, so language is a medium of exchanging ideas and transmitting cultural practices of other people in the global community. Okay, so intercultural communication refers to interaction with people from diverse cultures. Ano ba yung intercultural communication na yan? So it has four, uh, four, four forms, okay? So it is cited by Wakat. So we have number one, interracial communication. So it is communicating with people from different races. For example, sa US. Okay. So, different races yun. From Black American to White American. So, they have different races. So, ang interracial communication is pag-communicate ng tao with different races. As simple as that. And then, inter-ethnic communication is interacting with people of different ethnic origins. So, we have different ethnicity. We have, I think, six or yeah, we have Asian, Native Hawaiian, American, Black American or African American, and we have American Indian, and so on and so forth. Okay, so ito naman yung pag-interact sa different ethnic groups. Okay, so number three is international communication. So communication between representatives from different nations. So parang ang international communication yan yung soft power na sinasabi ng mga iba. Kasi you have the power to access or to be connected at different nations. So yun yung nangyayari ngayon. Okay. So it is through international communication, we are building a relationship with different nations. Okay? So, sabi nga dito, it encompasses political, economic, social, cultural, and military concerns. So, they serve to spread the influence of a nation and its policy. So, it's like we are gathering information from one another. So, we learn from each other. For example, yung sabi ko kanina, kunwari sa uh, political. Okay. So, sa political, kunwari yung isang bansa na yon very malago yung yung way, yung pag-run ng politics nila doon, we can use that as a source of uh, information para ma-inspire tayo to somehow adapt to it, or kaya may mga lugar na I don't know if it is Switzerland na zero case ang crime. So through that, parang we can access or we can gather intelligence, information on how they were they were able to do that. Parang ganon. Okay. So yun yung sinasabi ko, international communication is a soft power. Okay, next we have intra-cultural communication. It is interacting with members of same racial or ethnic group or co-culture. So as simple as American American, Asian Asian, mga ganun. Okay. So let's move on to improving intercultural communication competence. Okay. So local and global communication requires the need to foster cooperative conversation for effectiveness purposes. Okay. So the norm or convention in communicating should be observed by the communicators regardless of their cultural backgrounds. So it doesn't mean na sabi nga ignorance of the law excuses no one. Okay? So it doesn't mean na you're Filipino, hindi mo na alam kung anong norm ng Western or anong norm nila sa Amerika. You should know it. Okay? So you should properly observe it. Okay? So we have different types of norms. Okay? We have number one, folkways. Folkways is informal rules. Okay? So pag na-violate mo, it is not really that offensive, but it is expected of you to follow it. Okay, for example, uh, correct manners when answering a phone, or correct manners in eating, okay, and proper dressing, okay. So yun yung mga informal rules, hindi siya yung written laws talaga na kailangan mong sundin or may violations, mga ganun. Pero you are expected to follow it. Yun yung mga folkways, okay? And the next one, another type of norm is mores, okay? Mores, M-O-R-E-S, okay? Mores are informal rules. Pero mas mabigat lang siya kaysa dun sa folkways. Kasi pag na-violate mo yung mores na yan, it could result to uh, severe punishment, may mga punishment or social function, makakaapekto ka sa, might be may ma-offend ka. So, yan yung, for example, in China, a man should not wear a green hat or a green cap. It represents someone whose wife has been unfaithful to him. Okay, so yung simpleng pagpunta mo sa China tapos magsusuot ka ng green na sombrero could actually offend someone or could lead to being misunderstood, parang ganon. And another thing, sa China din, uh, you are not allowed to give a clock as a gift. Okay? So it symbolizes time, 'di ba? Ang clock, it symbolizes time. So ibig sabihin nun, parang sinasabi mo na it's the end of your relationship. So hindi siya na-encourage sa China na you gift them with clocks. Okay? So marami yan, napakarami. You have the Google, you have the technology to search it. Ang dami-daming mga mores na kailangan bago ka pumunta sa lugar na yon, kunwari magbabakasyon ka, you should know the norms. Okay? So hindi man sila yung written rules talaga na you need to follow, but at least you equip yourself with the proper things to know para naman hindi tayo magmukhang uh, parang mukhang inosente talaga. Yun nga, sabi ko nga, ignorance of the law excuses no one. Next, we have the taboos. So taboos are an activity that is sacred and sacred, or it is forbidden and is sacred based on religious beliefs or morals. For example, yung Muslim, Jewish people, they're not allowed to eat pork. Mga ganon. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Next, this one. Culture, therefore, is considered along with context to be effective and efficient in local and global communication. A speaker must engage with crisis for maxims in conversation. So, i-discuss natin yan isa-isa. Okay. So, before we move on to 4 maxims of Grice principles of cooperative conversation, gusto ko lang i-highlight tong cooperative. So, in a conversation, you need to have a cooperation with each other. Hindi naman pwedeng ah, nag-uusap nga kayo pero hindi nagko-cooperate yung mind state nyo, parang ganun. So, parang hindi maayos ang communication pag hindi kayo nagko-cooperate sa isa't isa. Okay? So, yun, pinaka-basic rule siguro na pag meron ka na nito, maayos na yung mga conversations mo mostly, most likely. So, number one rule talaga to have that cooperation na is do not multitask or do not multitask. So, if you're having a conversation with a person, be present, be at the moment. Hindi yung nakatingin ka sa phone mo, tas, yeah, parang ganon. So, hindi naman sa nagiging sensitive yung kausap mo, pero, you know, if you don't want to be in that conversation, you should, umalis ka na lang doon. Huwag mo na isali yung sarili mo dun kung ayaw mo talagang maki-cooperate dun sa conversation na yun. Okay, always remember that uh, don't be half in it and don't be half out of it. Okay, so as much as possible, try yourself or challenge yourself to be 100% present at that moment. Okay? So, hindi yung iniisip mo, ulam namin mamaya, or saan kaya kami kakain mamaya, or kailan ba kayo matatapos ng mga kwento niya. Okay? So, yun nga. If you don't want to be in that conversation, then get out of that conversation. Okay, so let's move on to number one. We have the maxim of relation. Okay, relation is every interlocutor should be relevant in conversation. Wherein the relevance is a norm that dictates the need for the interlocutors to become sensitive in the communication process. Ibig sabihin yan, be relevant and act accordingly. Okay? So, uh, merong nangyayari sa atin talaga. Sakit na yata talaga natin yon. Minsan, pag nakikipag-usap sa ating tao, yung may ino-open na problema, we equate ourselves with that problem. Kung for example, um, nawala yung parent niya, okay, naka-experience siya ng loss of a family member. And sometimes, although we find it comforting for others, pero yung minsan yung sabi mo, alam mo, ganyan din yung na-feel ko noon. Alam mo, nung ako din noon, talagang iyak ako ng iyak. Tapos, so parang yung focus na dapat nandun sa kanya, kasi siya yung kino-comfort mo, parang yung focus na punta sa'yo. So, although may mga times na comforting yun, pero yung sobrang ganun, might yung kausap mo mawawala na natuloy ng gana na maglabas pa ng, imbis na iyak siya, imbis na ilalabas niya yung nasa loob niya, parang napipigilan mo na dahil you equate your experiences to their experiences. So, it is somehow bad because every experience is different. Okay? So, it is never the same. Okay? So, parehas man kayo ng napagdaanan pero hindi ganun kaparehas yung level of pain. Okay? So, pag kunwari, may friend ka na nanghingi ng comfort dahil nag-break up sila ng boyfriend niya. Tapos, alam mo ako, nung nag-break din ako ng boyfriend ko, parang, so, nawala na yung momentum sa kanya. Napunta na naman sa'yo. So, always remember, it is not about you. Kung nag-open siya, it is about him or her. So, yun nga, sabi ko, be present at that moment. Huwag mong kukunin muna yung moment niya. Okay? So, siguro pag tumahimik na siya, dun ka pumasok. So, hayaan mo munang ilabas niya lahat yon. Okay? And, another thing, conversations are not promotional opportunity. So, it is not an opportunity for you to promote yourself or to promote your experience. Okay? So, always, yun nga, be sensitive in the communication process. Okay? be sensitive in the communication process. And they need to be relevant in communicating, requiring them to respond based on cultural and contextual requirements. Okay. Next, we move on to Maxim of Quantity. Okay. So dito naman, every interlocutor should observe a fair share talk of time. So medyo guilty ako dito minsan kasi medyo madaldal din talaga ako. So yeah, pare-parehas tayo. Pero yun nga, we should always observe the maxim of quantity. So, ito yung sinasabi na, give maximum information with minimum effort. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? Um, Try not to repeat yourself. Kasi, hindi naman lahat ng bagay kailangan nating paulit-ulitin. Kasi may mga bagay na naintindihan naman na ng tao pero dahil sobrang excited nating ikwento yon nauulit-ulit natin. Okay? So minsan nakakawala yun kasi ng momentum ng isang conversation. Next. And uh, stay out of the wits. So, ang mga tao, to tell you honestly, hindi naman talaga tayo mindful sa dates, sa year, sa name, sa location. Although may mga taong ganun na very, ano sila, sensitive sila sa mga names, dates, yung mga yan. Pero, kung nagkakwento ka, tapos, alam mo, nung Monday, September 12, parang ganun. So, parang nawawala na yung momentum. So, hindi naman kasi yun yung focus eh. What they care is you. What do you like? Or what do you have in common? So it is not the dates, the names, or the other things are not that important. So, yun nga, para magkaroon kayo ng fair share talk of time, medyo bawas-bawasan mo yung ganun. Although, different preferences naman tayo kung sino yung kausap mo talaga. Pero, try nyo na ganun. Mas magkakaroon kayo ng uh, malaman na conversation. Kasi direct to the point kayo lagi eh. Yun nga, maximum information with minimum effort. Next. Next, we move on to Maxim of Quality. So, Maxim of Quality, um, every interlocutor should maintain what is true in the given conversation. Do not add or deduce information. Always maintain a good reputation whenever you talk. So, it is like saying that if you don't know, if you don't know something, say that you don't know. Huwag kang matatakot na, okay, for example, may kausap ka na sobrang talino mong classmate at ayaw mong mapahiya. So, kahit yung naririnig mo, parang calculus na sa utak mo and parang hangin na hindi mo na naiintindihan, pinipilit mo intindihin para lang, yung parang, para ma-maintain yung conversation. Honestly, you need to be honest. Okay? So, if you don't know something, say that you don't know para alam nyo mag-adjust. Okay? So, hindi naman kasi lahat ng tao alam i-psychic kung naiintindihan mo ba, di ba? So, be honest. Yun lang. Be honest. And, yeah, yun lang. Kasi minsan may mga tao talaga na, oo, alam mo yung ganito, ganito. Oo, alam ko yan, ganun. So, ang nangyayari, nag-expect yung speaker na naiintindihan mo talaga. So, mamaya ma-disappoint pa siya pag, kunwari, the next day, nagkwentuhan ulit kayo at naulit-ulit yun. Tapos dahil wala kang naintindihan, hindi mo na naman maalala. So, ang mangyayari, madi-disappoint lang siya. Parang, ay, wag ko na nga lang ulitin, hindi naman pala niya naintindihan. Parang ganon. So, agahan mo na. Sabihin mo na kung hindi mo talaga alam. Alam mo, very interesting yung topic mo, pero parang ang hirap lang talagang i-process ng brain cells ko. O yung mga ganun, hindi naman sabi, hindi ko na naiintindihan. Parang ganun, parang medyo harsh naman yun. Pero depende naman sa friends mo. Pero kung medyo pabaitin mo naman, uy, alam mo, talagang gusto ko makinig pero talagang hindi na kinakaya ng brain cells ko. O, so alam ng speaker mag-adjust. Okay? So, naintindihan nyo yun? Okay. So, always tell the truth. Okay. Next, we have the Maxim of Manner. So, na-discuss na natin to last time. So, sabi ko, it is not what you say, but how you say it. The manner on how you say things. Okay. So, be clear and not obscure. Okay. So, in the local culture, the manner of saying word is more regarded than its content. Okay, so body language meanings vary greatly from culture to culture, which is discuss natin later, yung mga some body languages. Effective communication requires that the communicator has appropriate knowledge of the cultural use of body language in a multicultural setting. Okay, so hindi kalaunan, pupunta kayo sa ibang bansa dahil alam ko magiging registered social worker na kayo or attorneys kayo in the future, and then yeah, you'll be traveling from different places. So well, we must be mindful of these some common body language in multicultural setting. For example, this one, shaking hands. Shaking hands, cultural norms for handshaking varies. Okay, so for example, in the Philippines and in America, gesture of shaking hands is considered a norm when you're greeting someone. Hello, hi. So that's the formal way. Okay. So to refuse a handshake is considered very rude gesture. Pero sa Saudi Arabia, you can shake a man's hand after meeting him, but you cannot shake a woman's hand at all in greeting. Kasi based dun sa mga naririnig ko, from my parents, kahit tumitig ka nga lang sa mga tao, especially sa mga babae, sa UAE, very sensitive sila doon. Especially yung, meron pa sila sinasabi na, yung may takip talaga, yung tinatawag nila na prinsesa nila. So, pag once na tumingin ka doon eye to eye, expect na may makikita ka ng police nila doon or ang tawag nila, motawa, parang ganun. Yun yung tawag nila. Lalapitan ka na kaagad and i-call na kaagad yung attention mo. So, kahit nga dun, pagpasok mo pa nga sa mall, may nakalagay nun na, do not hold hands. Okay? So, kahit mag-asawa pa kayo, kung turista kayo, no, uh, just show that respect na you don't hold hands in public. Kasi very sensitive sila doon. So, pag nakita nga nila na nagkakatabi yung Pilipino, kunwari turista na mag-asawa, dapat lagi mong dala yung marriage certificate mo. Kasi very sensitive sila sa mga ganon. Okay, balik tayo dun sa handshaking. So, yun nga, hindi mo pwedeng isa-shake hand mo lang yung mga babae sa Saudi Arabia or sa other parts of the UAE. Next, okay sign. So, the okay sign, okay hand gesture in America and England is quite popular and considered a general gesture that denotes an agreement of sentiment. An okay sign in Brazil is the equivalent of using your middle finger as a gesture in America. And the okay hand gesture is taken as an insult in most Latin American countries, Austria and France. So, yeah, we have different perspectives and different beliefs and different ways on how to communicate. Next, we have thumbs up. A thumbs up can be equivalent to okay gesture, and it is widely used, equivalent to the okay gesture, widely used in America, England, and the Philippines. But in other cultures around the globe, giving a thumbs up is a very large insult, like America's excluding the United States. It is a horrible idea that denotes a sexual insult and correlates to the middle finger meaning in the United States. So yeah, always be careful. Next, sitting with crossed legs. So this is common in North America and European countries, but is considered disrespectful in Asia and Middle East, where a straight and a balanced posture prevails as a norm. So, di ba, yung mga gumagawa lang kasi nun yung may mga high authority, di ba, pag may makikita kang ganun, parang iba kasi yung dating pag naka, naka-cross legs. So, parang very respected, parang ganun. So, and somehow disrespectful din sa other parts of Asia. So, yeah. We should always be mindful of it. Next, eye contact. So this is considered a positive aspect of body language in the Philippines. Na-try nyo na bang makipag-usap sa tao na hindi tumitingin sa inyo? Di ba parang ayaw mo na tuloy-ituloy yung kwento mo? Parang nahihirapan ka makipag-communicate kasi parang hindi siya connected sa'yo. Di ba? So, eye contact is really important, especially here in the Philippines. So, it is also common in Spain and the Arabic culture among people of the same sex. Yung sinasabi ko na kanina, kunwari ikaw lalaki ka, hindi mo pwedeng titigan yung mga girls sa UAE. Next, not looking back when someone is looking at you is considered disrespectful and demonstrate insecurity, lack of interest, or indicates deception. Okay, so pag ayaw natin ma-misunderstood na insecure tayo or nawawalan tayo ng interest, uh, at least try your best to keep an eye contact when you're talking to someone, especially to your teachers. Pag nagre-recite kayo, wag naman nakatingin kayo sa taas, tingin kayo sa baba. Ang pangit, di ba? Although naiintindihan naman namin na nahihiya kayo or naiintindihan naman namin na nag-a-adjust pa lang kayo, pero at least makita naman namin yung effort nyo na to maintain an eye contact. That's very important. Next, nodding the head. Head nod up and down generally means agreements, excuse me, or yes, while head nod from side to side or head shake means no for Filipinos. But to the Bulgarians and Greeks, nodding up and down indicates negative response, for they are known for their unusual manner of saying yes or no. So, opposite yun. Next, tugging the earlobes. Okay? So, uh, the Portuguese tug their earlobes to indicate tasty food. The Spaniards tug their earlobes to signify that someone is not paying for their drinks. But in Italy, it inu insinuates sexual innuendos. Yeah. So, yung simpleng pag ganun mo sa tenga mo, may have a different meaning sa ibang lugar. So, yun. Kaya kailangan nating uh, ma-equip ng tamang knowledge on uh, how to act in a different cultural setting. Okay? So, yeah. So, sana may natutunan kayo with Unit 1. So, I'll see you in Unit 2.